Welcome back, everyone. Ready to deep dive with me again? This time, we're headed to eastern Ethiopia, to the city of Harar.
A fascinating choice, full of history and tradition.
Exactly. It's like a time capsule. We've got two sources to guide us, so hopefully by the end, we'll all understand what makes this city so special.
Sounds good.
So we've got this scholarly text, History of Harar and the Hararis, pretty straightforward. And then this really cool online article all about, get this, hyenas.
Hyenas.
Yeah, apparently they play a big role in Harar. But first, let's go way back.
Sounds good.
This book talks about, like, rock art on the Harar Plateau, 7,000 years old.
7,000, wow.
I know, right? And there's more coins, tools, all sorts of archaeological stuff. Points to a whole civilization there way before Harar itself.
The Harla people, thought to be the ancestors of the modern Hararis.
Right. The book even says they were trading with China by the 11th century.
Long history of global connections there.
And then Harar itself is founded by, get this, 7 Harla tribes, like a real coming together.
It became a major center. Trade, Islamic scholarship, all sorts of cultural exchange.
But the Harari people, they kept their own identity throughout it all.
Yep.
That's what really struck me.
Well, their social organization is really unique. It's built around these age and gender-based groups.
Yeah, I was reading about that. Like, the boys have their Marinot groups, the girls have their Galenet.
Exactly. Starts young, builds those bonds early. And it's not just friendship, it's about responsibility too.
Right, like a built-in support system from the start.
As they get older, they move into Mugad, taking on more duties, then eventually the Afocha.
Afocha.
Think of them as community organizations, but they're involved in everything. Weddings, funerals, you name it.
They even advise the city's leaders, right?
They do, and it's especially important for the women. They play a huge role, culturally and economically.
It's like this web holding everything together. Their history, their social structure, it all feeds into each other.
Definitely. Even their transition from a sultanate to an emirate in the 16th century, you see these Afocha becoming more powerful, reflecting that focus on community.
Fascinating. So not just a change in leadership, a change in how they govern themselves.
Exactly. And that collaborative spirit, it shows up everywhere. Even their celebrations are unique, blending Islamic practices with Harari customs.
Oh, like that purification day, Hey One Hey,
Yeah.
right before Ramadan.
Yes. The whole city gets clean. It's more than spring cleaning. It's about order, respect, harmony. Speaking of history, can't forget Amir Nur,
Yeah.
key figure in the 16th century.
He's the one who fortified the city with the Jugal, right?
That's the one. A UNESCO World Heritage Site now. Shows their ingenuity. Those 5 gates, each with its own purpose.
Must've been something to live inside those walls.
Yeah.
So we've got this walled city, a strong community, unique traditions, and then there are the hyenas.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
Roaming free right outside the city.
And people feed them every night. These hyena men.
Good question. Lots of theories. Appeasement, spiritual beliefs, maybe even a way to manage their population.
Intriguing, right? Well, we'll have to explore all that as we go deeper into the world of Harar.
It really is something else. This tradition has been going on for generations. Passed down, you know.
Generations, wow. But it still seems so mysterious. Like, why would they start doing this in the first place?
Right. Well, some people think it's about appeasement, like keep the hyenas happy, they won't cause trouble.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. They're powerful creatures. Don't want to mess with them. But wasn't there something about spiritual beliefs, too?
Oh, yeah, definitely. For some people, it's a way to connect with the wild, with nature, to recognize that we're all connected, even the hyenas.
Okay, yeah, I see that.
Yeah.
But it also seems kind of practical, right? Like, if you're feeding them regularly.
They're less likely to wander into the city looking for food, right?
Exactly. Yeah, it's like an unspoken agreement. We'll feed you, you stay over there.
A balance. Pretty amazing, huh?
It is. Okay, so we've talked about the hyenas outside the walls, but what about life inside? The book mentions these Gagar houses.
Ah, yes. The traditional Harari homes. Fascinating architecture.
What makes them so special?
Well, they're usually 2 or 3 stories high, built with stone and mud brick. And they're designed to be both beautiful and practical.
Form meets function, love that.
You'll see intricate wooden carvings, colorful decorations, and these interior courtyards.
Courtyards, what are those for?
They're like little oases, you know,
Oh.
offer a cool place to escape the heat. Plus, they bring in light and air.
Smart. So it keeps the houses cool and bright.
Exactly. And the high walls, the small windows, they provide privacy, security. It all comes together.
So it's not just about looks, it's about adapting to their environment. And the courtyards, they must be good for socializing too, right?
Oh, absolutely. They really encourage that sense of community. It's all connected. The design, their way of life, it all reflects their values.
It makes you think, right? Like our homes say a lot about us too. Speaking of reflecting values, what about their craftsmanship? I read about their basketry and this tradition of manuscript writing.
Ah, yes. Harar is known for its skilled artisans. The basketry, that's mainly done by the women.
Really? What's so special about it?
It's an art form. They use local materials, and the baskets are beautiful, strong.
They're used for everything, right?
Oh yeah, from storing grain to carrying things to market. And the manuscripts, they're amazing too. That skill has been passed down for generations.
Keeping their history alive, literally.
Exactly. And it's not just about preserving the past. These crafts are a source of income too, especially for the women. Contributes to the community.
So it's culture, tradition, and economic empowerment all rolled into one. That's powerful. But I'm curious, how does Harar fit into modern Ethiopia? I mean, it was independent for centuries, right?
Right, until the late 19th century when it became part of the Ethiopian Empire. Now it's a special region within Ethiopia.
So like a city within a city, holding on to its own identity.
Exactly, and they're very active in preserving their culture, their language, making sure their voice is heard.
It's inspiring, isn't it? The resilience, all this talk about Harar, it really makes you think, like what can we learn from them about community resilience?
Right. They've found a way to thrive, to maintain their identity, even their relationship with the hyenas.
It makes you question our own relationship with nature, doesn't it? Like maybe there's a different way.
It really does make you think there's so many ways to live in this world.
Like we think we know how things are supposed to be. But then you see a place like Harar, and it just opens up your mind.
Absolutely. I mean, they've shown that you can be part of a larger nation, but still keep your own unique identity. It's about embracing that diversity.
And holding on to your traditions. But also, it's like they have this understanding that we're all connected. People, animals, nature, like with the hyenas.
Yeah, that one's hard to wrap your head around at first. But it challenges us to see things differently. Maybe we don't always have to be afraid of the wild.
Right. Maybe there's a way to coexist, like they do. It makes you realize we tend to put ourselves separate from nature.
But in Harar, they found a balance. You see it in their architecture, the Gagar houses, how they use sustainable design. And their crafts, using local materials.
Like it's all woven together. Respect for the environment, respect for their traditions.
Yeah.
It's a perspective we could all learn from.
Definitely. So I guess as we wrap up our deep dive into Harar, I'm left with this sense of awe. This little city in Ethiopia, it has so much to teach us.
I know what you mean. It's inspiring, right? They've faced challenges, but they've held on to their community, their resilience, and they've done it their own way.
It's a reminder that there are still hidden treasures out there in the world. Places where ancient wisdom and modern life come together.
And maybe, just maybe, by learning about these places, we can find some wisdom for ourselves, about how to live better, how to connect with each other and with nature.
So keep exploring, keep asking questions. You never know what you might find.
Exactly. And until next time, keep diving deep.